have loved watching other creators do what I made in 2022 videos, and I was inspired to do one myself. This will be my first full video that I upload onto YouTube, so it could be kind of awkward. Thanks for bearing with me, but I'm excited to join just such a inspiring group of people. I've learned so much in 2022 from YouTube and from other makers, and yeah, so why not add my voice and my creations to that community that's taught me so much. So that's a little bit about why I'm here. And I make in the margins of motherhood, so it is something I've always wanted, is to be creative in any way. And I find it as a time of refreshment for me when I'm feeling drained from parenting. I find it as just a time of escape. You can get into the flow, especially with knitting and crocheting. I love getting into a rhythm or flow of just repetitive stitches and just the calming effect that has on me. And all that to say, I started my crocheting journey in 2021, but I made a lot of crochet things and learned a lot of new skills in 2022. So it was a big year for me in my crochet practice, as well as I learned to knit in 2022, which I've always wanted to do, and it was a challenge. Crochet came much easier to me, but I was determined, and now I've made some finished objects, knit objects. I also sewed a few things, and that is a life goal as well. It's not a strength of mine, and sewing frustrates me in a lot of ways. I don't find that I can get into a flow of it as easily as crocheting and knitting, and all the pre-work and all the things, all the separate just things that are required just frustrate me because I have such a limited amount of time during nap times or a couple days of childcare that I get to create, and having that time limit frustrates me with sewing. So this year I really want to grow in my sewing habits and practice, and really practice it and just prioritize it a lot more, even though it is out of my comfort zone a bit. So I wanted to review all the things that I made in 2022, and I also want to go over and show my works in progress, because I'm stuck on most of them, and I thought it would be fun to do our WIPS together, and we can inspire each other to think creatively, make them into something new, or just push through and finish the items. And then lastly, I want to talk about goals for myself for 2023 for making, and some things I want to improve on, and categories of items I want to make in 2023. First, I'll go over the things I made in 2022. As I said before, it was full of a lot of crocheting, knitting, and I tended to do a lot of small items. So I did a lot of accessories. I started with hats. That was the first project I ever made, and I just fell in love with making hats because of the almost immediate gratification, the flow that you can get into, and just how adorable tiny baby hats are. So this is an example of my first my first crochet hat. This isn't the first one, but I've made so many of these, probably 50 hats. I don't even know, but I've given them as gifts because I love making them so much. And here's a blue one. So the yarns I use, I love Woolies Thick and Quick for these. Their neutrals are really, really great. And then this is Yarn Bee. It's also a thick yarn. I can't exactly remember what the name of this yarn is, but it is Yarn Bee, and yeah, I'm drawing a blank on which one it is. But it's so soft, and so I love making these, and they have really great colors. in these hats. And I also put pom-poms on them too. So here's a pom-pom one. And I love making these. I think it's good to have when you're starting out crocheting or in any kind of craft practice. It's good to have your like safe item that like when you're feeling frustrated by a hard project or even in life, like you feel like you don't have any energy to give to your craft, you can always go back to something that's very easy for you, very relaxing, and that's this project for me. So some other accessories I made are this clutch. This was self-drafted as I was practicing, just a knit stitch. I love this. I use it as just like a purse organizer or a clutch. This was made with Wool in the Gang yarn, and again I was practicing my knit stitch, but I decided to turn it into a finished item, so it's a cute little happy purse. And then I made this on a road trip. This is just a crocheted half double crochet through the back loop iPad case. And this is one of my favorite makes. I made a color block scarf, and I was still just practicing my knit stitch. So these are Color Theory yarns from Joanne, and I just love her colors. This is just one of my favorites. So cute. And then I made some other color blocks, circle scarves. These are also self-drafted. This is in the Wool Ease Thick and Quick neutrals that I like for hats. So I used leftover yarns from the hats to I made the squares separately, just knit them flat, and then seamed them together as I was learning. And then this is also with scraps from the hats in the Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee yarn. See how pretty those colors are? I just think this one is also gorgeous. So these are probably my two favorite scarves, and I wear them all the time. And then on to, hats that I made like for myself or just like adult size. I played around with more color blocking. So this one matches the scarf that I made, and I love it. Again, this is with Color Theory yarn. This is with the Woolies Thick and Quick. This one I probably wear the most. I love this purple color. I've never liked purple until this year, but I adore this. Super cute. And then I also really love this color block. This is also with Color Theory. So yeah, I was just playing around with these, and I had a lot of fun, and I actually brought these to a market, my first market ever, to sell, and I was really happy that these two didn't sell because I like being able to wear them. So that's it for accessories. And then for like home accessory items, I made a bunch of coasters because it was a fun, easy project to use yarn scraps or like swatches to make swatches. So these are just an assortment of like scraps of the projects I've already made or that I've already shown you. And then also for market, I put these together, these crocheted headbands. They sold well. Little cup cozies. These were all just like out of scrap yarns that I had from hats that I wanted to use in different ways. It's the little coaster. I was practicing my puff stitch, which actually ended up making a basket out of as I was practicing that, kind of on accident. So this was self-drafted, but I think it's so cute. As well as this little guy. I really want to make more of these. I think they're amazing. And those are two scrap yarns from hat projects as well. So that was a great way to use it. Those are all my like home accessories. I also played around with clay. So this is, I think this was polymer clay, and I painted it. I mean, I'm not in love with it. I was just playing around. And then this one was with air dry clay, which is the first time I've used that, and I ended up keeping this for myself. So I made a bunch for Christmas presents, but they ended up broken because I have a toddler and he was curious and they were within his reach. So this one I was able to fix and kept it for myself. I have one more home accessory item that is a really fun, easy project that I made for market. So it's this little bath mat in the jumbo Bernat jumbo yarn from Joann. I made it in a few of the different colorways and actually made a mini one for my son for his bathroom. I have one in a different jumbo yarn from Hobby Lobby that's in our bathroom. They're just quick and fun projects to make. Okay, moving on to garments. I'm wearing a top that I made based on a YouTube video from, why am I going blank on her name? I'll think of it in just a second. But it was upcycled from one of my husband's old t-shirts that he was going to throw out. I think it was just like a Walmart black v-neck. And so you cut off the sleeve and then you cut the side in two, and then you leave two long straps and just tie it. You can either tie it just like once around or twice. So I have it tied twice around paired with these pants. And I really love it. Like, it's such a simple, very quick way to upcycle a shirt and easy, and it looks like, I don't know, cute and classy. So other tops I made, I have a thing for crop tops, I guess. This was self-drafted. This was like, I had just gotten my serger and I wanted to play around with like making a top with a serger, and the construction on this is horrid. It's really bad because I have a bad habit of like starting with a tutorial or a pattern and then just going off script. So I'll talk about that more in my goals for later, for this year in the later portion. But I actually, and even though it's like really bad in some areas, and it's like coming apart, I actually ended up wearing this a lot, like a lot, because you can't really tell the imperfections unless you look close. It doesn't bother me like wearing it with the imperfections because it like still holds together and it's like super comfy. But it started out as a tutorial from the Essentials Club and was gonna just be, I believe, like one layer. And I don't quite remember what happened, but I think I cut this too short and then I had to problem solve and fix that. So that's why I ended up with 2 layers, but I like it. It's not great up close. It's not great construction, but it's wearable. Like, I made a top for myself and I wear it. I've worn it probably more than 10 times. So it's a success, but also a lot of mistakes made. Okay, these are some of my favorites. I made this top. It's a For the Frills pattern. It is my favorite stitch, half double crochet through the back loop to make ribbing. I made this with an acrylic yarn from the Dollar Tree because this was my first attempt at making a shirt and I didn't want to waste a bunch of good yarn or like a bunch of money on something that didn't turn out. And it surprised me, like, because it's just a long rectangle and I could do it as a major beginner. So I did it and I've worn this a ton. I love it. I just clipped, I could sew these I guess, but I just like clipped little pads in there to make it more comfortable to wear out. This again started as a tutorial from the Essentials Club and it is wearable. I just don't love it. Again, I kind of went off script and I didn't finish it well. It's raveling inside. I got really frustrated and that's like how my sewing projects go. And I just wanted it to be done. So I did finish it. I have worn it. It's fairly comfortable to wear. It's just gonna fall apart pretty easily. I made it out of, the idea was I had an extra sheet, a top sheet from the set that we use, and I wanted to make a nightgown out of it. So it's not great. So both of my sewn pieces this year, I'm not super proud of, but I do wear them. So there's that. And they are finished pieces, they just aren't finished well. This is my probably all-time favorite top. Oh, I love it. So after I made the pink top, because it turned out well, I chose a better yarn for like the summer so it would be cooler. I ended up finishing this at the end of summer, beginning of fall, and I still have worn it so much. It's like a layering piece underneath sweaters, or like I've worn it so much already. Love this. This is For the Frills again, and this was with Wool in the Gang, shiny happy cotton. So I'm for sure gonna make this tank top a lot this year. I would love to make it for gifts or make it to sell if I go to market again. I adore this, and I think everyone should try. If you want an easy beginner crochet project, I would recommend making half double crochet hat, which For the Frills has a tutorial on, as well as Jenna Phipps on YouTube has one, and I think even it's Erin B. So this is pretty popular, but it's a half double crochet through the back loop ribbed beanie. So you can find that pretty much anywhere. So I would recommend starting with that, and also a tank like this. The same stitch, but it's just a big rectangle, and then you seam it, and you add straps, and you have crocheted yourself a top. So I would totally recommend that if you're a beginner crochet and you want to make some items for yourself. Okay, on to some more WIPS. So I also recently, I think it was last year that I learned to punch needle, but I made this, I made this purse. I'm not going to flip it inside out because I have pins in it, but it's way cuter on the inside, or on this side is the side that I use for the outside, but I have it flipped so I can sew the straps on. So I did actually wear this a lot, but the straps fell off, so I need to put the straps back on, and I just haven't done it. So this was based on a Rose Perlman class I took, a punch needle class I took of hers. I self-drafted this one with like Wool in the Gang raffia. It was going to be a clutch, and it looks so promising, but I just got frustrated working with this material. I mean, I got it all punched, but then it's just so puffy that, as you can see, when you fold it, it's just like, I don't know, I need to like shave it down or something. I have some problem solving to do. I got frustrated and I just like threw it in this basket. Another punch needle item. I don't know what to do with this. Okay, I thought I was recording for the last like 3 minutes, but I need to do something with this. This was my first hat project. I took it apart, and because I've since made hats that I like better. But this was my first ever crochet piece. So I need to just do something with this piece of fabric. Could even be like a pillow. I mean, I could make it into anything. I just need to do it. This is the Wool in the Gang. This is a Wool in the Gang pattern. It started out as a lace back Wool in the Gang top, but then I got frustrated with it and ended up making it into the familiar tank pattern that I know from For the Frills, but I think it just was too messy to wear because I had to seam it in 2 places. So I hate to waste this yarn because it's so great. It's so soft. It's so beautiful. I need to figure out what to do with that. This was a top I made for a coworker, which was a big mistake because it was the first time I used this pattern. I messed up on an armhole and she couldn't wear it, so it was too small around the arm. So now I have it and I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know what to do with it. It's cotton yarn, feels nice, but like I don't know. This was my first granny square project. It was super cute, but then for some reason I was blocking the other. I made a bandana too for a gift, and I was blocking that because I wanted it to be more flowy, and I decided to block this, and it made it like way too big. So now I don't know what to do with that. And that's about it. Here's here's another punch needle. I just need to finish a lost inspiration. I was doing like scrap yarn. And this is a punch needle raffia purse that I made for my niece and ended up giving her a different one. I gave her a crochet purple purse instead. So I don't really know what to do with this one. Whew, that's it. It stresses me out looking at my like old works in progresses, however you want to say that, because yeah, it's just a lot of frustration wrapped up into them, and I don't know what to do with them to finish them or make them into something else. So if anybody has ideas, let me know, and maybe this would be inspiration to finish your WIPS too. Last portion of this video is going to be about goals for 2023 and things I want to make. So I'm just gonna chat about that. So I want to push myself to make more garments. I want to actually follow a pattern from start to finish. Sorry, I just thought about a couple of projects I didn't mention in my 2022. Well, I made a couple ballerina dolls, and the reason I thought about that is because I do know I can follow a pattern, because I followed that pattern to a T, almost, like 99%. Followed that pattern, and the ballerina doll came out great. Same with Rooney sewing patterns. Bear, I've made several of those, followed the pattern, it came out great. So I know I can. It's just with garments. I need to challenge myself to just follow the pattern from the beginning to the end, because I am not at a level where I can just wing it. I can't do that right now. I need to learn from other people who've like done the work, you know, and listen to them, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I want to make more garments. I want to specifically make garments that are like can be with me through like pregnancy, postpartum, nursing, so like more flowy garments. I've made a lot of crop tops like last year, you know, the one I'm wearing, so I need to focus on more just like postpartum and pregnancy friendly items. I just think that would be smart for this stage of my life, and I think that's something we're all tempted to like spend a lot of money on, is buying items for that specific time in our lives, where I would rather learn how to like make those adjustments for my body. So even if that's like upcycling items or DIYs, like I made with this top, I think that would be a really useful skill, as well as just like basics. I want to really narrow in on like what my style is and make almost a capsule wardrobe, like make capsule wardrobe type pieces for myself. So that is going to require a lot of discipline, because I like quick projects. I like quick gratification. So I'm really gonna have to push myself to stay focused and to finish things, and to like choose patterns well, choose fabrics well, and to really focus on improving my construction if I want them to last. I also want to try and source secondhand fabrics and upcycle like garments as much as possible, just to fit our budget and make things like cheaper. And those are really the biggest things. I am currently working on a jacket from Loopy Mango, so that'll be my first knit like clothing item. And yeah, really I just would like to focus a lot on sewing clothing items for myself, for my kid, and knitting and crocheting clothing items. I'll be making like content to follow along with these these subjects, so things I make in 2023 and my works in progress journey, and crafting a capsule wardrobe that's handmade. And so all that to say, I hope you join me, and would love if you could help me grow my channel by liking this video and subscribing so you can see my future content. Bye!